You've been told to start early, stay consistent, and let compounding do the rest. But what if I told you that's exactly why most people never build real wealth? The truth is, compounding does work, just not the way you've been taught. Because while the average person waits 40 years to see results, the rich play by a different set of rules. These are the 10 laws of compounding the rich actually follow. And no one's teaching them in school, on social media, or even in most finance books. A friend of mine once told me his biggest regret was trusting the math more than his own situation. He started investing at 22, followed every piece of advice perfectly: SIPs, budgeting, time in the market. But by 35, his net worth had barely moved. Meanwhile, his cousin, who launched a small logistics company with zero investing knowledge, now has 5-figure monthly profits and is using compounding in reverse by leveraging the cash flow to buy back time. That's when it hit him. He wasn't doing compounding wrong. He was doing it without power. And power, as you'll see today, comes from applying these laws. And if you're serious about building wealth, not just watching charts, hit that subscribe button. This is part of our full compounding series here on Trip to Wealth, and what you'll learn today could shift your entire timeline. Let's get into it. Let's kick things off with the first unspoken truth of wealth building, the law of scale. Now let's zoom out and explore how scaling turns ambition into empires. Ready? Compounding is not magic, it's math. And math needs a multiplier. The rich understand that the input matters just as much as the timeline. If you start with $1,000, even 20 years of compounding at 10% only gets you to $6,727. But if you start with $100,000, that same 10% gives you over $670,000. The difference isn't the strategy, it's the scale. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't scale by saving coffee money. You scale by increasing your income, compressing time, and injecting capital. That's why the wealthy focus first on earning power, side businesses, lump sums, anything to build a strong base before expecting compounding to kick in. Most people try to grow a plant without any soil. The rich? They build a forest first, then plant the seeds. Compounding only becomes a force multiplier once there's something worth multiplying. With the first vault unlocked, we're shifting into high gear. Let's dive into the next game changer. The law of speed, where momentum isn't just gained, it's mastered. We often think compounding rewards patience, and it does. But it rewards speed even more, because speed gives you more cycles. Think of two people, one who invests once a year and one who reinvests monthly. Who compounds faster? The one moving capital quickly and intelligently. The rich treat money like a race car. The faster it moves, the more laps it runs. They accelerate outcomes, flipping profits into new projects, stacking wins, and keeping capital in motion. And they're not afraid to pull cash out of slow vehicles to reallocate into higher growth ones. This is why compounding without velocity is just slow erosion. The rich use speed not to rush, but to compress time, to get 10 years of growth in 3. That's how you beat inflation, avoid stagnation, and leapfrog the people who are still waiting for their graphs to curve. Power isn't just about speed, it's about steering the ship. Welcome to Law 3, the law of control. Let's uncover how mastery over your choices sets the tone for everything else. Ready to take the wheel? Here's a secret the rich rarely talk about. Compounding doesn't just happen in stocks or savings, it happens anywhere you control the levers. The wealthiest people often compound through businesses, real estate, brand equity, or even content, assets they can actively influence. Why? Because control reduces risk and increases upside. In public markets, you're just hoping. But when you control the system, your margins, reinvestment rate, team timing, you're not guessing anymore. You're steering. The rich know that compounding in assets you don't understand or can't influence is just expensive waiting. They'd rather create a product, reinvest profits, and repeat that cycle because each loop gives them leverage with control. If compounding is a train, control is the engine room. And the rich never ride someone else's train if they can build their own. Before we unveil the next powerhouse principle, let's hit pause. Which of these first three laws hit you hardest? The law of scale, speed, or control? Let me know in the comments with just the word law, and I'll know you're in the inner circle. Now we enter the realm of advantage the masses overlook. Law 4, the law of asymmetry. Let's decode how small moves can lead to massive gains. Not all compounding paths are created equal. The rich seek asymmetric opportunities, where the downside is limited, but the upside is exponential. Think of someone who builds a software tool. It costs them $2,000 to launch, but it could earn $100K if it scales. That's not compounding money. That's compounding leverage. And the secret? They repeat this across multiple asymmetric plays, small bets, massive upside, and minimal risk of ruin. The average person is told to avoid risk. The rich? They manage risk by design, not avoidance. Because in an asymmetric world, one good decision can change everything, while the wrong ones barely hurt. It's not about gambling, it's about probability stacking. And the rich know the right asymmetric bets compound much faster than linear gains. The rich don't just earn, they recycle their wins. Enter Law 5, the law of reinvestment. Compounding doesn't happen because of returns. It happens because of what you do with them, and this is where most people get stuck. They hit a 10K profit, and instead of reinvesting it, they reward themselves. But the rich, they treat early profits as fuel, not lifestyle upgrades. Because they understand this, every dollar reinvested is a soldier that multiplies itself. That 10K becomes 12K, then 15K, then 20K. Not because the market is generous, but because they didn't interrupt the cycle. Reinvestment is what keeps the engine running. It's not sexy. It doesn't go viral. But it's the invisible decision that separates momentum from mediocrity. The rich don't just delay gratification, they strategize it, with the goal of buying back time, not toys. Moving forward, let's decode how spotting and seizing windows of opportunity becomes a superpower. Welcome to Law 6, the law of timing windows. Ready to sync your hustle with the clock of success? This is one of the biggest secrets the average investor never learns. Compounding doesn't grow evenly, it grows in windows. Moments when the right move, in the right market, with the right leverage, can catapult your trajectory. The rich study timing, not to time the market, but to position themselves when the compounding window opens. Think of 2009 real estate, or 2020 SaaS, or 2023 AI content. These weren't just lucky guesses. They were timing windows. And here's the hard part. Sometimes those windows come after years of silence. The rich don't get bored. They get ready. They know compounding is quiet, then sudden. And the people who win aren't the loudest. They're the ones who enter when others are asleep. Because once the window closes, you're back to grinding. But when it's open, one bold move can give you 10 years of growth in 10 months. With the law of timing now unlocked, the game shifts again, because momentum needs fuel. Enter Law 7, the law of skill multipliers. Everyone talks about compounding money, but the rich? They compound skills first, because skills multiply earnings, and earnings multiply capital. This is why someone with the right skill set can create more wealth in 5 years than others do in 50. Think of it like this. A skilled negotiator compounds every deal. A skilled communicator compounds every brand. A skilled investor compounds every dollar with precision. The poor wait for money to show up. The wealthy stack skills that attract it. And they never stop. Because every new skill, marketing, tech, leadership, storytelling, adds a new multiplier to everything they already built. The real engine behind financial compounding isn't money. It's momentum. And that momentum? It's built by stacking skills one at a time until the snowball can't be stopped. Let's unpack how preserving wealth is just as powerful as creating it. Ready to guard your gains like the elite do? Enter Law 8, the Law of Capital Protection. Before you ever multiply your money, you have to protect it. This is one of the most underrated truths in wealth building. Compounding only works if your money survives. That means no reckless bets, no emotional decisions, and no ego-driven plays. The wealthy treat capital like oxygen. You don't waste it, you don't gamble it, and you don't expose it to unnecessary risk. Even Warren Buffett said it clearly. Rule 1, don't lose money. Rule 2, don't forget Rule 1. That's why the rich build buffers. They keep cash when needed. They hedge intelligently. They understand downside before chasing upside. It's not fear, it's discipline. Because compounding doesn't work in reverse. Once you lose 50%, you need 100% just to get back. The goal is to stay in the game long enough for the rules to work, and that starts with protection. Now let's unravel how thinking in curves, not lines, unlocks growth that defies gravity. Ready to break out of the box? Welcome to Law 9, the Law of Nonlinearity. This is where most people give up, and where the rich lean in. Compounding is nonlinear. It's frustrating at first. The early years feel slow, thankless, and invisible. You reinvest, you stay disciplined, and nothing happens. But then, seemingly overnight, the curve bends. The growth becomes exponential, and that's when most people whisper, "Oh, now I get it." The rich understand this up front. They don't expect rewards too early. They trust the curve. And because they expect the flatline phase, they're never disillusioned. It's like planting bamboo. It grows underground for years before it shoots up 90 feet in 60 days. But it only happens if you don't quit during the invisible part. The wealthy play long-term games with long-term people because they know compounding isn't fair, fast, or flashy. It's geometric. And geometry always favors the patient. Moving forward, chaos doesn't scale. Systems do. Welcome to Law 10, the Law of Systems. Here's the final and most powerful law. Systems beat habits. The rich don't rely on motivation or perfect discipline. They build systems that compound without asking for daily willpower. That means automated investments, recurring income streams, calendar blocks for strategic work, SOPs for their business, and mental models for fast decision-making. A system is just a repeatable process with minimal friction, and once a system is in place, compounding becomes inevitable. That's why the wealthy don't ask, "What should I do today?" They ask, "What systems are running while I sleep?" It's how they scale time, energy, and focus, all of which compound faster than money. Systems are the scaffolding of quiet wealth, and the ones who master this law, they stop trading time for dollars and start multiplying everything in their life with clarity and consistency. You've just unlocked the vault. So let's rewind and stitch together the blueprint of wealth the world forgot to teach you. These are the 10 laws of compounding the rich actually follow, and they're not tucked away in textbooks. They're carved into success stories. 1. The law of scale. Size first, then time. Big base, big compounding. 2. The law of speed. Velocity breeds victory. Fast execution, faster reinvestment. The law of control. Influence everything you touch. Power flows where decisions go. 4. The law of asymmetry. Uneven effort, outsized returns. It's not fair, and that's the point. The law of reinvestment. Feed the beast. Profits aren't cashed, they're multiplied. 6. The law of timing windows. Move when the moment whispers. Sudden compounding favors the swift. 7. The law of skill multipliers. Abilities stack like interest. Early skill sets, late-stage leverage. 8. The law of capital protection. Guard the treasure. Growth's meaningless if wealth leaks out. 9. The law of non-linearity. Forget the staircase. One leap can rewrite your entire trajectory. 10. The law of systems. Habits flicker, systems scale. Automate momentum. Now here's the deeper truth. These laws don't just apply to money. They apply to energy, decision-making, attention, relationships. Because compounding isn't a finance trick, it's a life principle. And the wealthy didn't just figure it out, they followed these laws with strategy, not superstition. So if you're feeling stuck, slow, or skeptical, start with 1. Apply it ruthlessly. Build momentum, then stack the rest. Because compounding doesn't reward the smartest, it rewards the most consistent and the most intentional. And if you found value in this breakdown, I highly recommend watching my next video. This is why compounding only works with a large sum of money and is not what you think. You'll see exactly how these laws connect to real results. I'll leave the link below. And speaking of purpose-driven wealth, that's what I'm testing right now. I'm building a Google Sheets command center. Something simple but powerful that lets you track your wealth, compounding, cash flow, and net worth like the rich do. If that sounds like something you want early access to, there's a link below the video to join the waitlist. And if you're serious about building real wealth, not just playing with theory, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell. We've got more coming in this series, and the next video could be the one that flips the switch for you. Until next time, stay consistent, stay patient, and stay winning. See you in the next one, Money Magician.